Hey there, my name is Alex. I am the Silver Mont, and this is my review of Elden Ring, played on PC. I received a review code from Bandai Namco. So, if you're not aware, Elden Ring is the new game from the studio that gave us Eternal Ring, one of the most bizarre games I ever played. They also made Dark Souls, and Demon Souls, and Bloodborne, and if you've played any of those, you'll have a rough idea of what to expect from a lot of Elden Ring's mechanics. If you're completely new to this style of game, then welcome, this is a great one to start with. Elden Ring is an open world, action-adventure, role-playing game. You will create a character choosing from 10 starting classes, but these are just templates that determine your starting point. You could begin as a caster and end up a fully armoured knight, if you so wish. Thrust into the lands between, your primary goal is to find out what happened to the Elden Ring, shattered by someone or something. To put it simply, you need to hunt down several demigods and pummel them, or you can just explore the open world by yourself or with friends, or make mischief by attacking other players. As with the Dark Souls games, death isn't an end in Elden Ring, rather it's a lesson. Were you killed due to a trap you didn't see coming, or perhaps an enemy got you with a vicious attack? Most deaths will have a lesson in Elden Ring, and the only thing you'll lose are your runes, the currency you use to buy items, level up, and so forth. These will drop onto the floor where you died, but if you make it back without dying again, you can reclaim them. So there's nothing to lose but runes, and perhaps your temper if you just died to a boss for the umpteenth time. Because of course, people always go on about how hard these games are, right? So how hard is Elden Ring? Well, the enemies are aggressive, they can hit hard, but you as the player can become very powerful as well. You can summon other players, you can level yourself and your weapons up, you can find a particularly powerful art of war, and new to Elden Ring, you can ring a bell that will summon various monsters that you collect to assist you. The game doesn't hold your hand, but there's plenty of guidance for those who choose to seek it out, whether from other players, in-game or out of game, or from the tips the game gives you. It is not an oppressively difficult game, that isn't the focus of it. So what is the focus? Exploration. The open world is large and absolutely packed with things to see and do. Fortresses, castles, underground ruins and caves to explore. And of course the legacy dungeons. These are the big dungeons wherein the demigods reside, such as Stormvale Castle, a huge, sprawling fortress that demonstrates these games at their best. Navigating unforgiving stone and never knowing what'll be around the next corner. Exploration and conquering the unknown is at the heart of every RPG at the end of the day, and Elden Ring does a fantastic job. One of the best you'll see in video games. With a game world that is brighter and more colourful than, say, Dark Souls, but still has that particular taste and aesthetic the fans of the series have come to love. Oh, of course there's new and returning weapon types to play around with. Twin blades, flails, and the like, along with your standard array of swords, axes, spears, bows, great swords, and so on. Combat has some new toys too, such as the counterblow system, where you can block an attack and immediately counterattack to crush the enemy's poise. Arts of war are powerful attacks and techniques that can absolutely change the tide of battle, far from the often underwhelming weapon arts of Dark Souls 3. There's tons of new magic spells to try out, as well as some familiar favourites and classics. Not to mention loads of armour, which you can now customise a little, such as removing a cloak from a breastplate or a hood from a helmet. Sound design has always been great in these games, and Elden Ring gives some ambient music, which is a definite new to this kind of game. You can expect to get the main theme stuck in your head. Visually, the game isn't the most advanced game in the world, but the art style is great and carries it far above many other technically superior games. How about performance? I'm playing on PC with an i7-7700K CPU, 1080 Ti GPU, 16 gigs of RAM. I'm able to max the game out at 1440p and get 50 to 60 FPS. Load times are pretty fast even on a hard drive instead of a SSD. The only issue I had with performance were some strange stuttering issues that I couldn't quite pin down the cause of. Hopefully this will be patched, and it seems to be inconsistent. Some people have them, others don't. Apparently the day one patch has improved it or fixed it outright for a lot of people. Elden Ring also has easy anti-cheat, a first for these kinds of games. It's I suppose, some sort of tool that basically looks for people who are hacking and stops them. Hopefully that will cut down on the number of hackers, which has always been a problem. A pretty big problem if you like to play multiplayer in these games. Fingers crossed that Bandai and FromSoft stay on top of it this time and find ways to protect the player base and strongly discourage hacking. Honestly, it is hard to find flaws with Elden Ring at the moment. I am absolutely loving exploring the world. Perhaps the biggest problem is that my friends don't have it yet, so I can't play with them. But if I had to think of some frustrations, well, the fact that swapping from one hand to two-handing your weapon is now a combination press of 2 buttons instead of 1, well, that takes some getting used to. Elsewise, I don't have much to criticise at the moment. Let's see how the game holds up in the coming months. How will the PvP scene play out? Will we get some DLCs? I imagine it's going to stand the test of time just as much as Dark Souls, a game from 2011 that still gets thousands of players every day. That speaks for itself. I hope this review was useful or entertaining. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.